Welcome.
Hi, welcome. Thank you. Good afternoon, members of committee. I'm Jason Chan, the new first vice president of QP Local 79, which, as you know, represents about 20,000 frontline workers delivering city services such as childcare, shelters and housing, recreation, public health, and employment social services, just to name a few. I just came off the campaign trail where I spoke to hundreds of members over many divisions. And after years of budget cuts, they feel stretched to the limit. I want to take a moment to point out to why they are feeling so stretched. And so we have a chart over here, and it's our tracking of staff vacancies in 3 key divisions where service levels are being debated in this budget. This chart shows the number of vacant positions from 2013 to 2016 based on the city's own reporting through variance reports. And just to note that the 2017's end-of-year report hasn't been released yet, which is why 2017 is not included. But as you can see, the 3 divisions we focused on here, Parks and Rec, Public Health, and Shelters, are chronically understaffed, and it's not because we can't find people to do the work, it's to save money. The table on the side lists all the divisions who reported this fall in the city's third quarter variance report that they were meeting budget targets, at least partly through staff vacancies. And let's be clear, when you don't hire frontline staff, it's a service cut. And due to time constraints, I'm going to focus on the challenges faced in recreation due to budget pressures and what you can do this year to start turning it around. But similar stories exist across our city services where people are waiting longer and staff don't have the resources to do their jobs. Shockingly, last year's budget saw the deletion of 111 staff positions in recreation at a time when wait lists for recreation programs were already ballooning. During the 2017 budget process, staff provided a briefing note on the wait lists in recreation, showing that they have grown by 64% in the last 3 years to 189,467. And Scarborough suffers the greatest wait list of the 4 community council areas with 65,638, and children make up 86% of the wait list. And last fall, staff have reported that recreation program waitlists have grown by another 10% to 74% in the last 3 years to nearly 200,000 now. And if nothing is done, it will grow to 400,000 by 2025. Let's remember, based off of what the staff reports say, these are mostly children who can't get into summer school, summer camps, preschool programs, or swim classes. At the last Community Development and Recreation Committee meeting in November, staff said that they can add 20,000 new program spaces in 2018, but in order to do this, you need to provide the funding, and Parks, Forestry and Recreation Division needs to hire the staff. Let me talk about who these staff are. For the most part, they are youth who grew up in Toronto recreation. Now they are skilled young workers thirsting to provide a new generation of kids with the same great programs. Now let's talk about the cost. 20,000 new program spaces cost $773,000 net. Add in the phase 3 of the Swim to Survive program City Council promised as part of the Recreation Service Plan, and it's another $156,000. Right now, both of these costs are on the infamous list of the service improvements that are not included in the preliminary budget. That's $929,000 to provide the 20,000 recreation program spaces and swim survival skills to waiting children and their families, while also providing young workers with jobs. Surely it's worth it. And the same case can be made in better investments in shelters, public health, equity programs, the poverty reduction strategy, the anti-Black racism program, and a host of other services being discussed here because they are essential to that goal that should govern your choice above all else. And that's creating a livable city for everyone.
Thank you. Councillor Carroll has a question.
Thanks. First of all, hello, Jason. I haven't met you yet, the new executive.
Yes, hi.
You chose to zero in the high vacancy rate, jobs that we budget for and then they just don't get filled is across the divisions, but you focused on Parks and Rec. And I found it kind of shocking because we used to be criticized as politicians. All they care about is Parks and Rec. All the money's going to Parks and Rec. And second in line was the library. And earlier, the library executive were here saying, you know, we're dying here. There's nothing but part-time and gaps. So somewhere along the line, something has flipped. The place where we used to pour all the money is now are the hardest hit divisions.
Yeah, I totally agree with that point. I mean, it's pretty shocking.
Yeah. So in terms of looking at what is the best way, if we wanted to build back and be supporting those people, our management in the divisions and finance staff, are they sitting down at any point in the year and saying, okay, if we did want to propose, if we wanted the service levels that the community keeps coming and telling us they want, do they sit down with the employee groups and say, what would it take? And you understand we have to present a sustainable solution to this. Is there any kind of cooperative discussion going on at this point?
Yeah, not that I'm aware of. I mean,
I think that we're open to that discussion, and I think that the new executive is reaching out right now to ensure that they're available for those discussions, but that hasn't been the history.
Yeah.
So I asked some citizen deputants earlier who said we don't want to be consulted at the last minute like this. If part of the motions that get moved in the budget this year were to say that we can't go into another term of office, another set of 4 years, without starting with a massive pre-budget exercise. What are the councillors' priorities and commonalities of purpose between us at the beginning of the term as new councillors all walk in the door? And then to pull the residents together, kind of like we did the last time was 2005, listening to Toronto to say, what is it the community really wants? Instead of, hey, community, can we raise your taxes? Hey, community, what do you want us to fund? What's the city you want? Before we do the budget. Should that be, if we move that motion, would the employee group support that? They might have to be patient while we did that at the beginning of the term, but would they support that sort of exercise?
Yeah, that would be excellent. Yes, definitely.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.